In this video, we will explore the key benefits of the Danish tax system for employees and workers, and why, despite relatively high tax rates, Denmark consistently ranks among the world's most attractive places to live and work. To do that, we will look at how the system is structured, what employees receive in return, and how it affects take-home value, security, and long-term opportunity rather than just take-home pay. When people first hear about Denmark, they often focus on the headline tax numbers. Personal income tax can appear high in comparison with many other countries, and that can understandably trigger concern among professionals considering a move. However, when we step back and examine the full picture, including public services, social protections, and quality of life, a different story emerges. The Danish model is built on the premise that a higher degree of taxation, when managed transparently and efficiently, can significantly reduce individual risk and create a more predictable, inclusive environment for workers at all income levels. A central benefit for employees is the very strong social safety net. In Denmark, a significant share of tax revenue is channeled into universal health care, unemployment protection, and social security. For workers, this means that access to healthcare is not dependent on employer-sponsored insurance or personal wealth. If you change jobs, lose a job, start a business, or take a career break, your health coverage remains in place. This creates a level of career flexibility that can be difficult to replicate in systems where social benefits are tightly linked to specific employers. The unemployment insurance and income support mechanisms are also designed to stabilize individual income in times of transition. For employees, this reduces the fear associated with job changes or corporate restructuring. Instead of clinging to a suboptimal role purely out of financial anxiety, workers in Denmark can make more rational, long-term decisions about their careers. In turn, that flexibility supports a more dynamic labor market where talent moves to where it is most productive, which benefits both employees and employers over time. Another important advantage is predictability and transparency. The Danish Tax Authority, SKAT, operates with a high degree of digitalization, and most routine tasks, from filing to adjustments, are automated or easily completed online. For employees, this reduces the administrative burden and the uncertainty that can come with opaque or highly complex systems. Tax is withheld at source, estimates are updated during the year, and individuals have clear visibility into their marginal rates and deductions. This clarity allows workers to plan. They can forecast net income, set savings goals, and assess the financial implications of salary increases or role changes without needing extensive external advisory support. Denmark also offers targeted incentives that are particularly attractive for skilled professionals and internationally mobile talent. One example is the favorable expat tax regime, often called the researcher scheme or expat scheme, which allows qualifying foreign employees to be taxed at a lower flat rate for a limited period when they first relocate. While the details and thresholds can change over time, the intent is clear. Denmark uses its tax system not only to fund public goods, but also as a strategic tool to attract specialists and high-demand profiles to the labor market. For internationally recruited employees, this can substantially improve after-tax income during the first years in the country, easing the transition and offsetting higher living costs. Beyond cash compensation, tax policy in Denmark supports substantial non-cash value in areas that matter deeply to workers and their families. Publicly funded education, from primary school through higher education, is accessible and of high quality. For employees with children, this means that a large expense category, which in many countries is managed through private savings or debt, is substantially reduced or eliminated. The long-term effect is that workers do not need to allocate as large a portion of their income to future tuition or medical contingencies, which increases effective disposable income over the life course, even if monthly tax deductions look higher on paper. Pension and retirement provisions also benefit from a coordinated approach. Employer and employee contributions, often coupled with occupational pension schemes, are supported by tax rules that encourage long-term savings. Over time, this gives workers a more predictable retirement outlook, with less reliance on personal investing expertise and fewer gaps caused by employment changes. The Danish system is designed so that even workers in more modestly paid roles can build meaningful retirement security, not just those with specialized financial knowledge. From a worker's perspective, this can reduce cognitive load and anxiety around long-term financial planning. One of the less visible but highly significant benefits for employees is the impact on workplace relations and organizational culture. Because many core needs, such as healthcare and basic income protection, are addressed collectively, compensation discussions can focus more on role scope, performance, and development instead of on negotiating individual access to essential services. This can support more equitable treatment across employee groups and reduce tension between permanent staff and other worker categories. In addition, Denmark's relatively compressed wage distribution, combined with progressive taxation, leads to lower income inequality compared with many countries. For workers, that translates into a society where social mobility is more attainable, and where the gap between the average employee and the very top is less extreme. Such an environment tends to correlate with higher levels of trust, lower crime rates, and a stronger sense of social cohesion, all of which influence the day-to-day experience of working and living in the country. It is also important to address productivity and work-life balance. The Danish tax-financed welfare model supports extensive parental leave, childcare options, and flexible work arrangements. Workers can take parental leave or adjust working patterns with less risk of complete loss of income or benefits. This contributes to higher labor force participation, particularly among women, and allows employees to navigate different life stages without exiting the workforce entirely. The predictable structure of working hours, combined with reliable public services, leads to a culture where productivity is high during working time and where long hours for their own sake are less normalized. For many professionals, this results in a more sustainable career trajectory and lower burnout risk. From the perspective of international workers considering Denmark, it is useful to think in terms of net value rather than just net salary. While the headline tax rate might be higher than what you are used to, you should factor in the reduced need for private health insurance, lower or no tuition fees, stronger unemployment protection, and lower out-of-pocket costs for critical services. When these are quantified, the difference in effective living standard is often smaller than expected, and in many cases, the Danish model is competitive or even superior in terms of total security and opportunity. It is also worth noting that compliance and enforcement are taken seriously, which means employees benefit from a level playing field. Wage earners can have greater confidence that employers are meeting obligations, from withholding tax to respecting labor rules. This fosters a climate in which workers are less exposed to informal practices that may appear attractive in the short term but carry significant long-term risks. In conclusion, the benefits of the Danish tax system for employees and workers extend well beyond a simple comparison of rates and brackets. The system is designed to exchange higher, transparent taxation for a broad set of universal services, strong social protection, and a labor market that supports mobility, equality, and long-term planning. For workers, this translates into reduced personal risk, easier career transitions, simplified financial management, and a higher degree of overall life stability. When assessing Denmark as a destination for work or investment in your own career, it is essential to consider this comprehensive package. By looking at total value rather than just gross or net salary figures, many employees find that the Danish tax system, far from being a drawback, is a key contributor to both professional opportunity and personal well-being.